La inteligencia artificial está cambiando demasiado en el mundo. No solamente sirve como complemento para realizar las actividades del hombre, sino también para ayudar lo que sería, por ejemplo, el medio ambiente. Es en tal sentido que hablamos con Jennifer Marsman, Head of Engineer for AI of Earth de Microsoft, quien nos contó las labores que está realizando en la compañía en Latinoamérica.
Well, tell us about projects of Microsoft about the artificial intelligence that's, well, in resume, that's using in around the world.
Yes. Well, Microsoft has long been committed to the environment. And we found that the only thing that is increasing at the same rate as climate change is technology. So Microsoft is committed to using our technology and tools and training to empower others to be able to build solutions in some of these hard challenges facing our planet. Things around agriculture and water and climate change and biodiversity. And so Microsoft has made its commitment solid by creating the AI for Earth grant program. This is a $50 million investment over 5 years. And this grant money is available to anyone doing machine learning or data science work in the areas of agriculture, water, climate change, or biodiversity.
Yeah, I see the projects in South Africa, for example, that it's that stops hunks elephants or something like that to rescue them.
Yes.
Not and use I don't know if the project calls conceptual metrical or about the elephants that try to scan all the maps and see where's the point of that they hunt and conserve it, these animals, you know. But it supports more that we don't stint.
Absolutely, yes. So that is an amazing project that you bring up. That's work called SPOT, and it stands for it's a smart poacher solution. And that's work that's being done in conjunction with the University of Southern California. And they are one of our AI for Earth grant recipients. And we are working with them to help enable their solution and accelerate their innovation in this space. So they're doing some amazing work around trying to catch poachers. Specifically, you have these large animals like elephants and rhinoceroses that are hunted for their tusks and their horns. And since these are such large animals, they're on these very large conservation areas that are, a very, very large area to cover. And as those animals move around, you want to be aware of where they are, and you also want to be aware when there are humans in that space that are not park rangers, because those are oftentimes poachers. And so if we can then use computer vision to help with this process, that's wonderful. So currently, the state of the art is drones flying overhead. And these drones see are taking infrared data and taking all that imagery and then being able to tell where there are animals and people. But right now, currently, human beings are processing all of those individual images. And infrared imagery is very hard. It's essentially like a gray blob on a black background, and it's very hard to process. And when you consider that most poaching happens at night, there are people up late at night looking at gray blobs trying to find out if those are actual poachers. And so there's a lot of fatigue issues and stuff like that. So Spot is using computer vision to be able to recognize, using machine learning, where there are actual poachers, and then in real time be able to send those drones and follow those poachers so that we can save those animals before it's too late.
Yeah, and what about our region in Latin America? What kind of projects do you have?
Yes, there are some amazing projects happening right here in Latin America. One example is some work using artificial intelligence to help with forestry to aid with climate change. So there's some work being done with Impact in Puerto Rico. Specifically, what they're doing is using machine learning on data from aerial photographs, so planes flying overhead collecting aerial imagery together with LiDAR data. And they're using this to using machine learning to individually classify each species of tree so they can recognize what type of tree all of those different imagery is. And the reason why this is so important is because every year forests worldwide remove 2.8 billion tons of carbon from the atmosphere. And so these forests are vital in order to mitigate climate change. And so what they're doing is studying specifically the effect of storms on these trees and what trees are possible. So in this work, they've specifically looked at the trees before and after Hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, and then can measure the effect of what trees were able to withstand the storm and how much carbon they can hold and how that will affect climate change. Another example is happening in Argentina, in Patagonia. So this one is around improving the quality of water. And in this particular example, they're using satellite imagery from the Sentinel-2. And this satellite imagery is being used to classify individual crops and create a land cover map. So being able to tell, looking at the satellite imagery, where the water is and where the individual crops are. And the reason this is important is because agricultural runoff can really affect the quality of the water. And what I mean by that is people apply pesticides and fertilizers and all kinds of things. And if there aren't proper buffers, then that can run into the water and affect the water quality because it's introducing unnatural things into the water. And so what they're doing specifically is being able to use machine learning to figure out what the individual crops are so that land usage experts can plan better and make sure they have the appropriate buffers so that this agricultural runoff doesn't happen.
Yeah. And what about in Peru? In Peru, we have, we have a Microsoft project on AI, and I don't know in which places it's situated. Not where Microsoft work in Peru. The intelligent artificial intelligence.
Yes. Well, I would love to see more AI for Earth grants specifically from Peru. I'm not aware of an AI for Earth grant currently in Peru. So part of the reason I've come here to the beautiful city of Lima is to speak directly to the people of Peru and ask them to apply for AI for Earth grants. I would love to see the intellectual capacity of this country. I would love to see more AI for Earth grant applications from Peru and the rest of Latin America. Latin America is so important in the fight against climate change. When you consider this is where the Amazon is, this is a vital part of the industry. So however we can accelerate the innovation that you guys are already bringing, we're happy to do so.
Yeah, maybe the deforestation for jungle or something like that.
Yes, no, I know there's a deforestation project happening in Nicaragua I'm familiar with, but I'm afraid I don't know about one that's happening in Peru right now.
Yeah.
Yes, but deforestation is a very big project. Yes, there is an AI for Earth grant recipient in Nicaragua I know who is focused on some deforestation efforts as well and other areas. But yes, that would be a great project.
People of Latin America can be apply for the project around and what are
So to apply for an AI for Earth grant, please visit http://www.microsoft.com/AI for Earth. And we accept new grants every 3 months, so on a quarterly basis. And the next grant application is January 7th, is the next deadline, January 7th, 2019. But then there will be another one in April after that. So we accept them on an ongoing basis. So anyone who is doing work in agriculture, water, climate change, or biodiversity and using machine learning and data science to assist in that work are welcome to apply for a grant.